Black Sports Network proudly presents the CAA Game of the Week. Today live from overcast Amherst, Massachusetts. It's Hofstra visiting number 16 UMass. The Minutemen have already secured home field for the conference tournament, which begins next Thursday, while the Pride is in a battle for one of the 3 remaining spots in the semifinals. Brendan McDaniels and Brendan Glasheen joining you this evening here at Richard F. Garber Field. Noah Rack and Kyle Gallagher at X. There's Sean Connolly, who went off for 20 saves last week against Fairfield. We're up for a good one. These two got together in last year's CAA semifinals.
And what an epic semifinal it was. A 35-yard goal as time expired put UMass in the championship game as a 3 seed. They went on to play Towson down in Towson last year. It was a great game. These guys traditionally play really tight games. Last time they played in Amherst, it was a tight game, went into overtime. This one should be a great one.
There are the percentages. UMass leading the conference at 60.3%. Hofstra in third, just under 57.
Yeah, Noah Rack for UMass. He is just so good at that face-off X. He can do a lot of different things at that X. He can be a finesse guy. He can be a down and gritty guy, whatever he needs to do to get the job done.
Selected in the 4th round of last week's MLL draft by the Charlotte Hounds. Here's UMass on offense, leading the conference in goals per game. Tempo slowed down by Chris Connolly, just a freshman from Glattensburg, Connecticut. Had 5 assists last week, taking home his 4th CAA Rookie of the Week honor.
Yeah, he's really done an outstanding job, and this is a guy who committed as a junior. They've known him for a couple years now, and really quickly got acclimated into this UMass program. Has been outstanding so far this year.
Jeff Trainor, the sophomore, rockets a bounce shot, missiles wide. Backed up by UMass. Trainor's second on the team with 24 goals this season. His 38 points, second on the squad. UMass tries to reoperate. Keegan Santos, a freshman for Hofstra, covering Trainor. The Pride at 6-6. Win or lose, still have a chance to make the conference tournament for next week.
Yeah, this is a dangerous Hofstra team because defensively they're very good. They are the #1 scoring defense in the country. They only give up just a little over 7 goals a game. Jack and Kinnan, their goaltender, one of the best in the entire country.
Jake Lisauskis, another senior, one of 8 being honored today with his second rip. UMass keeps the ball again. We're 90 seconds in. It's been all Minutemen possession. Of course, UMass last week an 11-4 win over Fairfield to lock up the top seed in the conference tournament, hosting next week, Thursday and Saturday, here in Amherst. Dump underneath, swung back up top. Here's Buddy Carr, dishes to Trainor, and they swing it across. Another bounce shot attempt. That was Lisauskis, his 3rd shot already. The race for the backup. Officials conferring, it's Hofstra ball.
Yeah, great job over there by John Puckhaber of laying out, going out of bounds to win that possession for Hofstra. And you saw in that possession for UMass, they tried a variety of different shots. They tried some high shots, low shots, some bounce shots. They couldn't really get a quality look on goal in any of those opportunities.
Puckhaber, a redshirt senior. They do break the timeline. Jack Concannon staying on his tippy toes in cage. UMass nearly forces the turnover, but the sideline in awe due to a flag thrown down.
Yeah, there's Jeff Trainor on the other side. He's going to get a 30 seconds for a push with possession back there. Looked really close. Watch 14 right there. You see him get him in the back just a little bit. Had he been another step or two upfield, that would have been a decent move, and it would have been UMass ball. But with that now, it gives Hofstra 30 seconds in the man advantage.
This year, Hofstra just under 36% on the man up, second best in the CAA. 2 for 3 last week against Drexel. Swing back up top. This is Dylan Alderman finding Ryan Tierney, who has been explosive this year as a sophomore. No sophomore slump for the coach's son, Ryan Tierney. 12 goals over his last 4. Alex Mosier on the near side. There's a rocket missing upstairs from the captain, Dylan Alderman. Backed up by McIntosh.
Penalty is now over, so it's back to 6-on-6.
One of Seth Tierney's keys to this game, beating this UMass team in 6-on-6 sets. Don't want to let the Minutemen get out in transition where they've been dangerous all season long.
Yeah, it's really been a strength of this UMass team in the transition, and last week in their win, they used that transition game to create a lot of goals, especially in the beginning of that second half.
Quarterback in the offense, Alderman. Shakes it underneath to Brendan Kavanaugh. The lefty looking up top. Here's Tierney trying to slip one through, and Connolly picks up where he left off last week, reeling that ball in.
And here's that UMass transition coming out so quickly.
Feet on the doorstep, quick squeeze, they score. A flag comes in as well. But a score for the Minutemen, it is the freshman, Chris Connolly.
And Brendan, we talked about just a moment ago how quick that transition is for UMass. That all starts off the save, quickly up the field. Papero gets it to Conley, and Conley, he's a big physical guy. Even though he's a freshman, he'll go in there and he'll mix it up, and he gets the goal.
His 20th of the season. 38 points to lead all rookies in the conference. He was a distributor primarily last week. No goals against Fairfield. Having an outstanding year. We talked about Ryan Tierney there a moment ago, the rookie of the year in the conference last year. You got to believe with the season UMass is having and the year Chris Connolly is having individually, he's the front runner to win Rookie of the Year.
I think it'd be a huge upset if Connolly isn't the Rookie of the Year once the awards come out next week.
Gallagher plucks it away. Hofstra fighting for this ground ball. It is a battle. Tanner Griffin, the long pole trying to slip in there. And it's grabbed by the freshman Keegan Santos of the Pride. As Brendan noted, it's a tremendous rivalry here between Hofstra and UMass. These two teams have met since 1974, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, the matchups are tight. This all-time series is tight.
Hofstra down a slouch a little bit offensively this season with Josh Byrne exiting from a year ago. Here's a quick feed to Jimmy Ennis. Top left corner, he seizes it to tie the score.
And that was a great look. Yanis comes back door. You take a look at Hofstra. They reverse the ball back behind X, and Yanis backside. Nobody picks him up. They get caught sleeping. So you see the double comes, but the shorty doesn't get back to cover Yanis, and he's got that mid-range shot wide open.
Goes glove side on Scanoni. 21st goal for the junior. He's in the top 10 this season, in the conference that is, in goals. That's the production Seth Tierney was turning to in the preseason. As far as where would the scoring come from? Josh Byrne often drew two defenders, changed up your sets defensively as an opponent. Where would they get the production? Giannis has been an option. Tierney, of course, McIntosh, a freshman, have all been stout on attack.
And Josh Byrne used to have some big games against UMass. I mean, he was routinely 5 goals a game. He's translated that into the pro ranks as well. He was the Rookie of the Year in Major League Lacrosse last year.
Noah Rack has that capability of scoring off the face-off, not this time.
Yeah, great trail check by Hofstra, and they get the turnover.
This is Hofstra on the man up, by the way, with Jackson Subak hit with the penalty moments ago. A minute issued, 35 seconds here for Hofstra to set up.
Yeah, it was a post-possession foul, so that's why the penalty comes in even though the goal was scored.
Tierney swings it. It's Trevor Kupecki, who has 3 man-up goals this year, a senior that often comes in for EMOs. Feet on the doorstep, wiggling by. That ball rockets off the crossbar. Race for the loose ball, and that is Alderman, who was beaten by UMass. They can kill these final 6 seconds.
Yeah, the 2 penalty kills so far for UMass defensively have been really good. They have not really given Hofstra a good look at the goal each time. They stayed packed in. Hofstra was moving the ball, but they would move with it. There was no backdoor cuts. There was no opportunity for for Hofstra to kind of slide through and get that opening.
The UMass PK percentage at 69%, 4th in the league. Now Kevin Tobin waits to make his move, a freshman for the Minutemen from Reading. Tobin being hunted down by Brendan Lynch of Hofstra. Here comes Jesse Long. Dips down to the end line. Lynch now crossing over defensively, giving Liam Bloom, the long pole, some help. An attempt from up top by Ben Spencer, ricocheted by the Pride D.
Yeah, Puckhaber was there to take it. The old cliche, takes one for the team. He actually took one for the team right there. He was also the one that hustled and got that turnover on the shot a couple minutes ago. So he's really come up big so far here in the first quarter.
Trainor over to Charlie O'Brien. Now weaving through, it's Spencer once more. UMass might empty the bench a little bit today with that top seed locked up, but they want to go for 5-0. On the doorstep, a couple of hesitation moves. It's Connolly again, his second to give UMass the lead.
Connolly is just so strong on that crease. Once again, it's a cross crease pass. You see Connolly wide open on the backside, gives 3 fakes and then a shot. Take a look at it one more time, and this comes cross crease. He's all alone, and as soon as he gets Concannon to commit up high, he sends it right under his armpit for the goal.
He came into this game as a freshman, remember, tied for 5th in the conference in scoring. 2 goals already for number 10. The 5 assists he had last week were the 2nd most in conference history by a rookie. Doing the goal scoring early. They get that out of Connolly going into next week. It takes so much pressure off Buddy Carr.
Well, we're already almost 8 minutes into the game and we haven't talked about Buddy Carr touching the ball at all. So, I mean, that's a great sign for UMass. It just shows you their depth, too, of how their offense can run, and they've got so many guys that can, one, handle the ball, and 2, create offense for them.
Team leader in goals, assists, and points. How does Hofstra counter? 6:40 to play here in the first. Giannis has the only goal so far. Mosier gives it a shot. Connolly reels it in, stick side.
Yeah, and that shot didn't change his level. He went high to high. That was an easy one for Connolly to see.
Ryan Tierney did get there to back it up, and Hofstra can reset its offense. 9 goals per game on the season. We used the comparison of Josh Byrne last year. A year ago, Hofstra averaged over 11.5 goals per game.
Well, it's also the Josh Byrne factor, too. You can see when you've got an elite goal scorer in the country who will average about 3.5 goals per game, makes a huge difference offensively.
Giannis gave it a shot. Back up by Kavanaugh. Luke Gomez doing his best as the shorty. Has a couple of goals on the season. It's back to Alderman, who was a preseason all-conference selection. Flipped out to Giannis. Up top now, Tierney. Alderman's got it back. Giannis looking for someone to cut through the crease.
The slides have been great so far for UMass on this possession.
A defense that's improved each and every week. Greg Connolly talking to us this week. Mosier got it to Giannis, his second. Whipping around and firing in with the left. We're tied at 2 with under 5 to play in the first.
Well, in that one, you're going to see Valenza 45 for UMass. He gets caught having to go behind the crease right there. You see him get caught behind the crease. Normally, you want him to come in front of the crease. That time, he got himself too deep behind cage, trying to fake for the double. And right there, as soon as he goes behind, Giannis has got a free open shot right on the crease.
Jimmy Giannis, a player that did not see action 2 years ago, an ACL tear. You got a feel for him. And last season came on the scene with 20 goals. He's already eclipsed that and then some. 22 on the year. So each team has swapped goals in the first. Giannis for Hofstra, Connolly for UMass. Giannis on the left of your screen as they dip it along here, and they look for an angle. No look for Hofstra. Ryan Kennard getting some movement here on offense, 20 in the blue. Mosier trying to get around the D. Anthony Reale, a shorty, defending him. Now it's Tierney. Spins left, fire in tight. That one bounces through. Dylan McIntosh, the freshman, with his 20th of his season.
It didn't look like that pass was intended for McIntosh. It looked like he just sniped that right out of the middle. I thought Trainor was trying to pass that to the outside, but McIntosh gets it right into the teeth of that defense. Take a look at it again. He picks that one off right in the middle, and he's just got enough spacing that he can turn around and rip that shot.
McIntosh from British Columbia, Pitt Meadows. Played at their secondary school for 5 seasons before traveling to Long Island to play for Hofstra. Rain is coming down. UMass comes right back. Billy Philpott, the short stick D-Midi, evens the score.
Well, these D-Middies for UMass, they can score and create offense, and this comes quickly off the draw. You just see a couple quick passes right there. And he's got a wide open shot, a little farther out than you'd expect a D-Midi to shoot it, but he's got the range. You see nobody even is paying attention to him, and I don't even think Concannon was ready for that shot. He wasn't even set up.
Really starting to come down now here in Amherst. Philpott with his 7th goal, as you see there. He's now got 8 points over the last 10 games for UMass. Those are all of his career points. He's a redshirt sophomore. This team in transition, as we've discussed, is just lethal. 3-3's our score. As you see, umbrellas everywhere outside of Richard F. Garber Field. Funny enough, last year when these two teams met in Towson, the rain was pouring when UMass pulled off the upset.
It was another day like today where it was cold and chilly and the rain coming down.
Another look up top there. That was Kavanaugh, this time from the far side. Backed up by Giannis. 3 minutes to play in the first, and our score is 3-3. Each team has had a lead. Talked about Hofstra defensively and their goals against. As I say that, they throw it away. They're also one of the teams that take care of the ball really well, not just in the CAA, but in the country. Second in the nation in turnovers per game at just under 11 per.
Yeah, and that one just a ill-advised pass. You got to remember with the rain too, the pockets will sag a little bit. The pockets will become deeper, and guys are going to have to adjust the angles of their passes and their shots to compensate for those sticks getting a little bit saggy.
Dom St. Laurent comes in, redshirt junior, honored today on Senior Day, one of 8 for UMass. They're of course trying to keep things rolling next week here at home. St. Laurent, bottom corner, almost plucked. Hofstra can't clear though.
And Concannon's out of the cage.
He gets back in quickly. Jake Lasauskas gets it over, and they score. There's Buddy Carr. We haven't called his name much, but he gives UMass the lead late in the first.
Yeah, and this comes in transition after Concannon's pass wasn't handled. Just a quick shot by Buddy Carr, and that's exactly the same spot where Philpott shot just a couple moments ago. And yes, Concannon got back in the cage, but it takes him a minute to get set up, catch his bearings, and by the time he does that, the shot's already on its way. And that's a result of sometimes when you have an aggressive goaltender who comes out of the cage and gets back, he still needs a couple seconds to get set up and get his bearings. We're right there. By the time Concannon got his bearings, the shot was already there.
Connolly with a quick save. Gallagher has won 5 face-offs already for Hofstra.
Yeah, we had a couple of procedure violations that have helped that number, but a quick shot. You want to see them if they're going to go on the fast break. You want to see them change the level of their shot.
Buddy Carr now with 106 career points in a Minuteman uniform. So we have under a minute to play here in the first quarter. This is just game 1 of what is 3 games in the next 48 hours here on Lac Sports Network in the CAA. Later tonight, Drexel at Delaware, and then tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Fairfield visits Towson.
And depending on the outcomes of these games, there's 8 different tournament scenarios.
Shot, Concannon the stop. Plucked out, Trainor chasing for it. And the official blows the whistle.
Yeah, we're gonna get a push. So, and by the way, with Buddy Carr with that goal, now 50 points this season, the first player since 2012 when they had 3 guys each with 50-plus points, including Will Manny.
He was pretty good. Trainor misfiring. 4 seconds here for UMass. Griffin guarding tightly. Spencer lost the ball. First quarter clock runs out. Well, back and forth we go at Garber Field. UMass does pull away to get a lead. It's 4-3 at the end of 1. UMass and Hofstra. This is the CAA Game of the Week on Lac Sports Network. Welcome back to Garber Field in Amherst. 4-3 the lead for UMass at the end of the first 15 minutes. Brendan McDaniels and Brendan Glasheen with you this afternoon and into the evening. Lac Sports Network's regular season coverage of the CAA Game of the Week wraps up on Saturday. Doubleheader from Towson University. First at 11, the Towson men will look to secure a spot in the conference tournament when they host Fairfield. Then at 2, we go to the women's games. 2 top teams in the conference will square off. James Madison, number 4 in the nation, and number 6, Towson. Both teams enter the game perfect 5-0 in the conference. The Game of the Week of the CAA right here on Lac Sports Network.
Yeah, some great lacrosse on both the men's side and the women's side in the Colonial Athletic Association.
Another fight at the ground ball, and Kyle Gallagher has had a great game to start out. He's won 6 of 9, as Brendan mentioned in the first. There have been some violations by Noah Rack at the X.
We talked about how good Rack is, but Gallagher just as good. He's another guy top 20 in the nation in faceoff percent. So you got 2 guys in the top 20 going head to head.
You could argue he's Hofstra's most improved player. Last year under 48% at X, and this year up at 58%.
And just those percentage points, if that gives you 2 or 3 extra possessions a game, that is huge.
Alderman flakes a pass to his right, bounces wide of his teammates. Turnover, Hofstra. UMass looks to clear.
We're having a conference. Hofstra sideline is saying it should be theirs. But UMass will win this argument, though.
Trainor getting bodied right now by Lynch. Fends it off, and UMass can operate here. Connolly playing with a lot of swagger and confidence. Trainor lets Jesse Lung insert. Reno leaves. Devin Spencer had a couple of goals last week. He's 3 in the white, including 1 in the very final seconds of the first half. Wasauskas up to Spencer. He's the younger brother of Ben Spencer, also on this UMass roster.
Connolly was open on the backside a moment ago. He was jumping up and down looking for the ball. They couldn't see him, though.
Poor pass to Trainor. Slouches his head. And over Dylan McIntosh to get it.
Yeah, that was a product of Connolly. Just wanted to do a little too much. He was getting really jumpy because he wasn't getting the ball. And he rushed his pass.
Couple of turnovers each year. That's the 3rd by UMass. Hofstra has 2. Beginning stages of the 2nd. Hofstra's getting in the CAA tournament regardless of what happens today, but the seed is what the question is. They get a win today that secures the number 2 seed behind these very UMass Minutemen. Alderman whips down a bounce shot. Connolly scoops it, no problem. Here comes the transition attack. Bounce shot, squeezes in. That's Philpott again with 0 hesitation in mind.
And that right there is a product. Connolly made the save, quickly got the ball out ahead. And Philpott coming down, as he sees that defender close in on him, he takes the shot. But that is a product of the quick save and the quick outlet pass and moving the ball up the field. We mentioned how good this UMass transition team is, and Philpott, that's how dangerous he can be because he is so fast, and he's got a nice shot for a D-midi. Gets his 2nd of the game.
That's something they have preached to both goalies of UMass. Sean Connolly making his 2nd straight start. After winning last week against Fairfield, he also won against Delaware, or pardon, against Towson. Played the bulk of the Delaware game a couple of weeks ago, and that was the turning point of his season.
Yeah, since the changeover, I mean, he's really played well. And you can see right now today, he's seeing the shots very well, and he's not hesitating. He's making that save, and he's getting the ball out in transition, getting the ball out to his team, clearing it so they can move the ball upfield because they're so dangerous in transition. He's the one that's really getting that party started.
Yeah, 5 saves already. Last week we mentioned the 20 against Fairfield. That was the most since Doc Schneider, assistant coach of UMass, back in 2009.
And an outstanding goalie in his own right when he played here at UMass.
Hofstra's got 7 seconds left in this man-up chance. This one skitters off the pipe to the left side. Trevor Kupecki, again, a specialist on the man-up. The chance dwindles, though. Back to 6-on-6. Penalty was against Shane Rinkus of UMass. Minutemen have scored the last 3. Can Hofstra halt the run? They scored their most goals in a single game this year last week against Drexel with 16. Tierney brings it in, tight pass by Alderman underneath. Mosier back up to Tierney. Are you surprised so far by Tierney's lack of shooting early? He's had a couple of shots, but not many.
No, I mean, they're doing a great job on him defensively. I mean, he'll get his shots by the end of the game.
Looking for Yanis, tied up. Hofstra with the violation, and back comes UMass over the timeline to our left. Skip, this one slides in. Shane Rinkus, bottom shelf for the captain.
I mean, we sound like a broken record talking about their transition game, but that's what makes this UMass team so dangerous. And Seth Tierney mentioned it yesterday about how their transition game could give Hofstra trouble. Take a look, great cross the field pass. Rinkus ready for the quick catch and shoot. You see Trainor come over in transition. Just a beautiful, beautiful play. I mean, this UMass team, they've got 3 transition goals in this first half, and they've all been excellent. They've been getting the ball quickly upfield, making quick decisions, and the shooters have been ready to catch and shoot and place their shots.
Senior captain Shane Rinkus from Pembroke, Mass. Philpott's got 2 in transition. They win a face-off here. Looking to cut through. That's 5 in a row for UMass. Celebration for Jesse Lung, sophomore, with his 9th of the season.
And directly off the face-off, same thing in transition. They're just getting the ball out quickly. They're moving it upfield. And right on the doorstep, you see he's got inside position on that defender. He's got the defender right on his backside. A late push comes in, but they should wave that flag off. So it won't be a penalty on that play, but it's so quick. It took 8 seconds from the time they blew that whistle for the face-off to the time that ball hit the back of the net.
UMass collects the ground ball after the Lung goal. Jesse Lung enjoys regular season finales. Last year he came on the scene. That is an absolute bullet from up top. Oh man. Dan O'Brien slings one home. 6 in a row for UMass. Timeout Hofstra. O'Brien's first goal of the season.
A much needed timeout because this again comes right off the face-off.
It's also his first career goal in a Minutemen uniform.
And same thing, just like the last play. They skip the ball cross field, they flip the field, and you've got a wide open shooter on the back end. Hofstra's late to rotate over, and they get the wide open shot. Dan O'Brien, first collegiate goal.
Sophomore from Lloyd Harbor, New York. Initially committed to Army, changed his ways, making an impact on defense this season as a sophomore with UMass. Hey, don't forget, we've talked about the CAA tournament throughout the course of the night. Lac Sports Network is your home for CAA lacrosse, and in 2018, that includes both the men's and women's tournaments entirely. The men's tournament gets underway with the semis next Thursday, May 3rd, and concludes with the championship game on Saturday, May 5th, here at UMass. The women's tournament will take place on May 4th and 6th at James Madison. All 6 games, again, right here on LSN.
You get 2 great campuses. You come back up here to UMass next week. Go down to James Madison for the women's tournament. James Madison has to be one of the nicest campuses in this entire country. Had an opportunity to go down there and do a football game in the fall right after their national championship. Beautiful September afternoon on that campus.
Oh, campus must have been rocking.
Full stadium, just fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of great schools in this conference. I was in Hofstra last weekend doing a Major League Lacrosse game. I was down on the island.
Hey, speaking of the pride, what is Seth Tierney telling his team right now?
First thing he's saying is, first of all, you guys got to watch the cross-field passes. When they're flipping the field, you guys have to slide over a little bit faster. You have to see that. Second, he needs to tell them, his guys in transition, they need to get upfield and slow that transition down. A lot of times what you've been seeing is the UMass guys just simply outrunning Hofstra. They've got to start up higher on the clears, so what they can do is get in front of those guys and close them off and try to get them to the sideline instead of allowing them the middle of the field.
Rack with the crucial face-off win to bolster his confidence. Then again, his team is up by 5. It has scored 6 in a row. Philpott collects. This one's good. Billy Philpott with a hat trick. 7 in a row for UMass, and the lead is 6.
And I don't know if you're going to see it on this replay, but they caught Hofstra in a transition, end up being 6-on-5. You're going to see a Hofstra player come in right at the last minute, right there. You see number 6 come in.
That's Gomez.
So it was a 6-on-5. So take a look at it again. Watch late coming on. You're going to see, there you go, number 6 right there. Late coming on in transition. That allows Philpott to get open because that guy is Philpott's defender. And that's what we were just talking about in that timeout. Again, you've got to be smart about it. If they're already down in the offensive end, you can't come off the field and try to transition because now you're creating a man-down situation.
First career hat trick for the sophomore from Sandwich, Massachusetts. UMass getting excited, throws the ball away. Well, last week, this team was tied 3-3 with Fairfield at halftime. It took a while, not just for the transition offense, but the set 6-on-6 offense to really gel and find some momentum. They went on a 10-0 run between the third and fourth quarters of last week's game. That has not taken long today. No, Coach Connolly said they played very sloppy in the first half, and I'm sure that they got a tongue lashing at halftime about that. And today they've really come out firing. Hofstra's out of sorts. Connolly again. Nope, Concannon stops it. And just keep in mind that Concannon only gives up 7 goals a game. He's one of the best in the country. He's already given up 9, and we've just scratched the surface of the second quarter. How much of these goals, though, solely are on his back, considering this transition offense might be the best he's seen all year? Well, I'd still say 5. 4 of these goals came in transition where his team was out of place. Mid-air jump goal. No, that's going to be in the crease. That'll be no good. No good for Long. Aiming for his second premature celebration. Yeah, I'd say five of these goals have been in a settled 6-on-6 situation. 4 of them have been transition, but still 5 is a lot for this Hofstra defense to give up in a half. Hofstra gave up 10 in the loss to Delaware 2 weeks ago. But in CAA play, you're right, they allowed 5 to Fairfield, just 3 to Towson, 8 to Drexel. They've been dynamite defensively in the conference. UMass is just 2 goals away from scoring the most against this Pride defense in league play this year. Alderman trying to get him back on the board. Yanis has a pair for Hofstra. Attempting to blast one by, bottom right on Connolly. Not the case. It was just an impressive showing so far from UMass. Even when Hofstra was playing those ranked teams early in the season, they still weren't giving goals. North Carolina held to 6. Villanova, while they only scored 2, Hofstra that is, Villanova only scored 7. Connolly racks one up. Connolly's been seeing the ball really well in this first half. I mean, when they played Lehigh, I think they gave up 30 to you're on right now. You're on pace. You're looking at 16, 17 goal pace. More than midway through the second quarter, UMass has scored the last 7 goals of the game. Again, they used a 10-0 run last week against Fairfield to escape and pull out in front of the Stags. Jake Lasoskis with patience. He draws in Mark Ellis, a grad student from Stony Brook. He's the shorty that flips off. Dom St. Laurent pressured by two. Lynch coming in. There might have been a hook in there.
Yeah, there's going to be a hold.
Eric Wenz also covering tightly defensively for Hofstra.
So you watch UMass, they'll be really patient now because they know regardless of the outcome, they're either going to get a goal or a penalty at the end of this play.
Now they swerve it up top. Buddy Carr, no good.
This is going to be on Lynch.
Brendan Lynch from Lake Forest, California. Played at Junipero Serra High School.
And you see the hold right there. It was right in front of the official. So it's a 30-second technical, so UMass will go man up for 30 seconds.
First we'll see this unit today. Third in the conference at slightly over 35%. Clayton Proctor has come in, 42 in the white.
And he had a great look right in front of the cage. He wasn't able to handle the pass.
10 seconds in the chance. Pass flicked away, hit off a Hofstra stick. Ben Spencer's got a couple of seconds before the next defender slides in. Here it comes for Hofstra. Spencer this year, 8 man-up goals. Had him last year, pardon me, career-wise, 15. Won't have a chance at it now. UMass back in 6-on-6 form. Hofstra as well. Carr playing from underneath, something Greg Cannella mentioned he's been doing more of this season.
You know, they've been playing him a little bit up top, playing him behind X2. Just give him defenses a different look, so it's not the same look that they're getting every time. And a legal screen will turn over to Hofstra. But for Buddy Carr, he was primarily in attack. They moved him to midfield to allow him to get up top and create from up top. So you get a lot of different looks from Buddy Carr. They haven't really needed him so far today.
How do the Pride approach this possession here? Haven't scored in quite a bit.
Yeah, it's almost been an entire 15 minutes since they scored. And now what you're looking for, you don't necessarily need a goal right here, but you need a quality possession. You need to get a quality look because Connolly has been really seeing the ball well. You've got to come in at him with a good shot. You got to change your level. You got to go high to low or low to high. He's been really good on those low shots. So I would look for Hofstra to try a high shot right here and test him out up high.
Alderman's held the ball for quite a bit. Flag comes in on the near sideline. This will be against UMass.
Yeah, but this is going to be a push.
By Trainor, it looks like.
Yep. Yeah, be a 30-second push.
Hofstra's had a couple of opportunities with the extra man. Oh for 3 today. Alderman up to Tierney.
And Hofstra on the man-up really hasn't had very many good looks in the 6-on-5.
Tierney trying to whip it underneath. Deflection by the UMass defense. He was looking for McIntosh.
Yeah, McIntosh was open in the middle of that defense. So they've tried that play a couple times and they haven't been able to connect on it.
It has been a quarter plus since Hofstra has scored a goal. McIntosh was the last one to score. UMass has scored 7 straight. This Minutemen team 21st in the nation in scoring offense. Connolly over to Long. Carr is playing on the far side of your screen. O'Brien up to Ben Spencer. Spencer missing wide left.
Yeah, he put that in his left hand. If he would have kept that in his right hand, he would have had a better angle at the shot. That's normally where you want to shoot with your right hand.
All in all, we look at this scoring run. If you're Greg Connolly, you have to be pleased with your team's focus level coming in. You have the 1 seed locked up, and they've come out firing here in this first half.
Everything's been great. Offensively, they've been great. Transition's been great. Defense has been great. Goaltending has been great. This is a all-around great first half by UMass.
The only negative is what they just did, a turnover. That's their 7th of the half.
As I say, the only thing that they've been a little sloppy with the ball a few times on offense, but other than that, I mean, really, they've been playing an outstanding half. But now the test for them is to not get complacent and not slow down in the second half.
2 minutes to play in the first half.
And for Hofstra, you'd like to see them get a goal on the board, get a little bit of momentum to go into halftime, give them a little more pep in their step. Like we mentioned last possession, they should try and challenge Connolly high. They haven't really done that so far. They've really been going at him low, and he's been seeing the ball out great.
Hofstra's goal differential and losses has been pretty good. They've lost 3 of their last 4, or pardon, 3 of their last 5, and the losses have been by 1 goal or less, as Tierney gave it a rip. Backed up by Yanis.
Yeah, Papero got a little bit of that shot just to go off the mark, but Tierney was trying to rise her there. He was starting out low, and he was going to send that one up high.
Last year's Rookie of the Year, Ryan Tierney. We were told throughout the course of the season by his father, Seth Tierney, that it had to be crystal clear he earned every minute of playing time, and he did so with a stout freshman season. 31 goals, the most by a Hofstra freshman since 2006.
Yeah, we have another time. And that's the thing. It's the hardest thing when you talk to coaches who are coaching their own kids, and it's so tough. But usually their kid is the best guy on the field at any one time, and Tierney has certainly shown that.
Hey, every Tuesday night, Lac Sports Network brings you CAA Press Pass, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. In-depth look at all things CAA lacrosse, including highlights and interviews with the conference's top players and coaches. That's CAA Press Pass every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Lac Sports Network. That is a must-watch next week, with the conference tournament beginning on Thursday for the men's side, Friday on the women's side.
Yeah, you get the inside scoop from everybody that's there. And just talking about Ryan Tierney, your father's the coach of Hofstra. Your cousins, Brandon Tierney and Trevor Tierney, both played at Princeton. They're both outstanding players. Your great uncle is the coach at Denver. He has won multiple national championships. He's got one at Denver. He's got one at Princeton. I mean, you're just expected to be an elite lacrosse player, and he has lived up to every expectation that is laid out from a family that is really highly regarded in lacrosse.
And talking with Seth Tierney this week, he even admitted it's hard not to intertwine the dad stuff with the coaching stuff. And the one thing he was hoping for, just as a coach and as a dad, he would avoid the classic cliche sophomore slump, and that hasn't been the case. Even Coach pointed to a practice earlier in the season where Ryan was flustered, and he felt the burden of having to take the place of Josh Byrne and carry this offense. And his dad just told him, you got to have fun. You got to keep enjoying why you love the game, and just let the game come to you.
Well, and that's the thing sometimes is when you have an elite goal scorer like Josh Byrne who graduates and you've got a young guy taking over for him, they press a little bit too hard, try to do too much because they feel that pressure. And you just really have to, as a coach, sit down and say, hey, you got to relax and just be you. And Seth Tierney was telling us that yesterday when we were chatting with him. He told him, you are who you are. Just be you and you'll be fine. Don't try to do anything more than what you can do. And once you get into that mindset, then you just kind of relax and let the game come to you. Things slow down, and you get so much better.
20 seconds to play in the first half. Yanis trying to spear one home. The Pride did get there. That's Alderman. 15 seconds remain on the clock. Hofstra has not scored since the 3:48 mark in the first quarter. Brendan Kavanaugh, 5 seconds. Kavanaugh to Yanis. As Alderman looking on the skip, goes into McIntosh, but no shot ever gets off. Sean Connolly hustles off the field. UMass goalie thrilled. An impressive first half effort by this UMass team, rather. Isaac Paparo, their star defenseman, was key last week with 7 ground balls and 2 caused turnovers. UMass heads to the half, up by 6. We're going to step aside here from Garber Field. The number 16 Minutemen lead by 6 on Hofstra. It is the CAA regular season finale, and you're watching it right here on Lac Sports Network. Gallagher, just a sophomore from Northport. Noah Rack, a veteran of the CAA. Senior from Norwich, Connecticut, one of 8 honored before the game for the Minutemen. Senior day on the final day of the regular season. UMass shooting here on the right of half number 2. Talked about their scoring run. They're also trying to extend their winning streak. They score a quick goal out of the face-off. Devin Spencer with his first of the night after a 2-goal game last week.
And that was all created by Shane Rinkus off the restart. Rinkus was calling out the adjustments because the defense was given this whole entire backside, weren't covering anybody, and Rinkus kept calling for them to flip the field. So take a look at this. But now you see that's the goal celebration, but when you take a look, this near side right here, what they did is everybody for Hofstra was all pressed to the opposite side. The backside was wide open. Rinkus called for replay. Watch 12 right here. So he's calling for the field to be flipped. They flip it. Hofstra doesn't slide over, and it allows 2 quick passes and a goal.
Chipped out by Santos of Hofstra. And there is a flag down. This is UMass going on the man up, and the penalty looks like it's against Hofstra. Who goes to the box? Looks like Brendan Lynch.
So it's going to be a slash.
Pardon, that's Santos.
Yeah, they called it on Santos. I thought it was originally they were looking at Dylan McIntosh. But it is on Santos. It's a 1-minute penalty, so UMass will have a man up for a full minute.
Well, not the way he wanted to start the second half. A quick goal out of the faceoff for Rack. Eventually, as you mentioned, Rinkus getting it to Spencer, and then you commit a penalty. And we're not even 30 seconds into this second half. Hofstra 0 for 4 in the first half on the man up. UMass just 0 for 1. Ben Spencer up top. They tried to quick flip to the doorstep. Jesse Long was the intended recipient. Tanner Griffin rips it away. Now giving chase. Brett Osman, they find.
And a cross check at the end. This is getting rough now for Hofstra here in the early going, as Buddy Carr gets the goal and he draws the penalty at the end. So you see the quick pass by Long to Carr and the cross check at the end.
That's the captain, Brett Osman, of this defense. But team leader in caused turnovers.
But Brendan, this is what UMass had set up early in the first half. They had Connolly on the doorstep on the opposite side. This time they just pull Carr over to the near side. Same exact play, they're just doing it on the other side of the field. Hofstra, again, doesn't see the play develop, and they get nabbed by it. So the cross check on Osman, that's another minute penalty. So after you get the man-up goal right there, now you'll get another one.
8-goal lead for UMass. Of course, they are trying to extend their winning streak to 9 games overall. They have not lost since a home game here against Albany, the then #1 team in the nation. They score again.
Same exact play that they just did on the man up. They score on again.
Buddy Carr's third, another hat trick for the senior.
Let's take a look at this again. So Trainor, you see Carr coming down there. Watch. Nobody is on Buddy Carr at all. That is just poor defense, right? How do you let Buddy Carr stand all alone? Look at that. There's nobody near him. That's just unbelievable.
He had 5 points last week, including 4 goals against Fairfield. Tonight, 3 goals and an assist.
And 2 of those goals came in the last 30 seconds on the same exact play.
Carr up to 53 points this season. His career, 109.
It's getting late really early for Hofstra, if you know what I mean.
Still a lot of time, but we expected a competitive dogfight, as every game is in the CAA. Especially given the implications, Hofstra doesn't want to see this UMass team next Thursday in the semifinal round of the CAA tournament.
Yeah, if the scenario falls where they draw the 4th seed, they're going to be right back here playing UMass again.
There's a possibility, by the way, even if Hofstra loses this game, they can still get the 2 seed. Bounce shot from Ben Spencer.
Yeah, that was right before the penalty expired. It was a non-releasable, so that's why the penalty was still going.
There is a scenario in which Hofstra would have to win to go to 3-2, and then if Towson, Drexel, Delaware, and Fairfield all went to 2 and 3, Hofstra would be the 2.
Yeah, reading all the tiebreaker scenarios, I felt like I was back in high school. Taking an exam, trying to figure out which is which.
Two and a half minutes into the third. Lasoskis got rid of it, trying to feed in deep, looking for Buddy Carr again in the middle.
Yeah, Buddy Carr had drawn a short stick right in front of the crease, so they're trying to look for him to operate on a short stick defender.
Buddy Carr and his versatility, like you spoke on in the first half, has allowed this team to give different looks in the 6-on-6. Connolly just snatches it out of midair. He's still playing on his toes despite his team's dominance on the other end.
And it wasn't really a great shot. I mean, that was almost a lob pass to Connolly. I mean, they're just playing catch with the goaltender. Nice save by Concannon.
Ball plopped up in the air and sailed right into Jeff Trainor's grasp.
Despite the score, Concannon has made some really good saves today. We were mentioning with Buddy Carr and him moving back and forth, and they can put him back behind X. They can put him right in front of the crease, and he can also dodge from up top. They give him a couple different looks, and when you've got a guy who's so creative offensively, it gives your team almost like extra guys on the field because he can do so many different things in so many different spots.
Charlie O'Brien. Carr was fighting for possession as he had Liam Bloom, the long stick pole, trying to chip it away. 12-3 is our score. UMass has scored the game's last 9 total goals. Down 3-2. Pardon, tied at 3. It's back and forth in the early stages of the first. Minutemen throw it away. Tierney can pick up the closest one and get back to work here on offense. Not a single point yet today for Tierney. Does have 1 assist, no goals.
Well, he hasn't had a lot of good looks at the cage to try and shoot. They've really done a good job of not letting Tierney get his hands free.
Has the 6th most goals in the CAA with 26.
Yeah, they've had Isaac Piparo on Tierney majority of the game.
Dylan Alderman slings to Yanis. There is some daylight, but they couldn't come through. Brendan Cavanaugh. Gotten 20 shots and just 3 goals.
Well, a lot of those shots have been off cage too.
Yeah,
I mean,
more than half.
They haven't been really good looks.
Pass to Yanis, slips by him. Luke Valenza with some nice pressure at the end of that sequence. Hofstra is all out of sorts.
So you see UMass slow it down just a little bit. They'll get some different personnel in. They'll work some different guys into the offense. And what you're doing with this too is if next week you have an injury, somebody's got an off game, now you're giving some guys some other runs so you can see what kind of different looks you can put into your game plan if you need them.
Devin Spencer draws Lynch. Spencer from behind the cage. Twisted out to Trainor. Lasoska's back to Spencer. Connolly on his left. Buddy Carr has a bit of an opening. Connolly was looking for him. No shot clock yet for UMass.
No, they just did it. Shot clock is on now. So when they call for the shot clock, you got 30 seconds.
Puckhaber defending Jeff Trainor. We're approaching the midway point of the third. Trainor bodying in. Carr trying to find Spencer. Threw a seed at him, but he couldn't bring it in.
Well, and that's an aggressive mistake. I mean, you've got Devin Spencer cutting from goal line extended. You're trying to give him an opportunity to get right in front of the cage for a quick stick. And so those mistakes, if you're UMass, you live with those ones because you're up. You've got a big lead, and you're just trying to try a couple different things to see how they look. And that's the luxury you get by having such a big lead in the third quarter. You can afford to take a possession or two and try a couple different things and see what you got.
Hofstra has not scored in 26 minutes of game action. Alex Mosier, one of their top offensive middies. Brendan Cavanaugh searching now. He hits Alderman.
This is where they got to try to attack when they got that shorty on them.
It's Philpott, the two-way midi for UMass. Now the pole up top. Tierney trying to screech one through. Connolly with another save. That's his 8th of the game.
But you saw in that shot too, came way out. He didn't have a lot of zip on that ball. Connolly had a lot of time to read that ball and react to it.
How concerned should every other team in the conference be for next week?
Oh, I'd be really concerned if I'm every other team that's going to enter the tournament next week, and I'm watching this UMass team dismantle a really, really solid Hofstra team. And remember, Hofstra came in only giving up 7 goals a game, #1 in the entire country, not just in the CAA, but the entire country. And Jack Concannon, who's one of the probably top 5 goaltender in the country, has been getting lit up. Not necessarily all his fault, but still, I mean, this is very concerning. And if you're UMass, you got to feel really good because this is a game where they could have come in and been complacent and almost laid an egg because they didn't need this game, but they've done the exact opposite.
Ryan Kennard getting some run. Connolly not beat. Nearly was, though, by Yanis. Not to mention Jack Concannon, a 2017 Tewaaraton finalist. This year, he cracked the top 25, announced by the foundation yesterday.
Yeah, what's interesting is UMass is the one that's playing like they need to get into the, they're trying to play their way into the tournament, not the other way around.
McIntosh mishandles the pass. Does bring it in. Coming up on 5 minutes left in the third. Hofstra playing for seeding purposes for next week's conference tournament. Could be as high as second, as low as fourth. Alderman scores to halt this run by UMass. It's now 12-4.
And that's the type of shot that we were looking for Hofstra to have all afternoon. Tierney falling away across the field to Kennard, and then Kennard over to Alderman. See, 2 quick passes, and you get it right in that slot for Alderman, and he's right in the middle of the defense, but there's nobody on him, so he can get his hands free and get that shot off.
Dylan Alderman playing in his 11th game this year. He's played hurt throughout the course of the season, battling a groin, hamstring injury. One of 3 seniors, Seth Tierney told us, have played banged up, and he made sure to mention that he understands every team has injuries throughout the course of the season, but Alderman, Mosier, Kavanaugh, 3 guys that have played hurt on the offensive midfield. So good to see Alderman close to right. 11 goals, 23 points this season.
And they went nearly 30 minutes without scoring.
Yeah. Did not look promising. But they've cut it to 8 with still about 20 minutes of regulation to go.
Well, you're right. There's still a lot of time left. You got to tighten up the defense, and you got to continue to look for quality opportunities. That was probably the best scoring opportunity they've had all day, where they had some nice passes and they really moved the ball and got it to the open spot in the defense.
We've done it a few times tonight. We've referenced last year's semifinal game as Jack Concannon goes to one knee to bring that ball in. Last year they were trailing by quite a bit and came back. McIntosh to Yanis. Pardon, that's Tierney, his first tonight, 2 in a row for Hofstra.
They gave UMass a dose of their own medicine. That came in transition off the save by Concannon. They got the ball quickly ahead as McIntosh fed Tierney.
Tierney's 27th goal of his sophomore season. '58th of his young career.
So this is where lacrosse gets a little bit funny. You get a little bit of momentum. Now you got to win the face-off, get your possession back.
Gallagher and Rack to do battle.
Actually, that's Herber that took the face-off.
Yeah, Brian Herber, freshman from Smithtown, New York, getting some run. He went 4 for 7 last week against Drexel. So a bit of a twist, even though Gallagher was solid in that first half. Herber does his job. Yanis going for a hat trick. Instead, he flips off. Tierney stops Connolly.
Yeah, those outside shots, Connolly has been right on those all day.
Quick turnover, though. Yanis has his stick knocked away. Isaac Paparo not only causes the ball to get turned over, but the stick as well. And here is the UMass transition. Hofstra sideline is livid.
Well, they're upset about the transition on the backside. They're trying to get personnel onto the field. They got another another defender coming on late.
Trainor thought about a step down shot, instead to slow down. He and Carr with a little two-man game.
So on both sides, you've got one coach that just handles the box, and I was looking down when you said that, and you can hear their box coach yelling, "Get off the field."
Here's Carr looking to ram through. Eric Wenz covering him. Trainor cutting through, a whistle blows, illegal screen. And then a flag comes in.
Yeah, this is going to be on Lasakis. It's going to be for unsportsmanlike. He was heated, but I think it was a good call. But of course, every player doesn't think they ever commit a foul, so.
Greg Connolly ran right over to Lasakis to calm him down. So you have 80 seconds to play here in the third. Hofstra's got to take care of business tonight. That's an obvious statement. But later tonight, we'll see how Drexel and Delaware pans out. That one coming up right after us, 7:30 just about, here on Lac Sports Network. And of course, Fairfield and Towson tomorrow morning at 11 Eastern. Shot from Tierney. Missed wide. Yanis there. Under a minute to play here in the third. This flag will also be issued. So it's against Lasakis, unsportsmanlike.
Unsportsmanlike, unreleasable.
Here's a great opportunity, Brendan, for Hofstra.
Yeah, because now you've got a full minute, and you can score as many times as you want.
0 for 4 today on the man up. Could not capitalize on any in the first half. This is their first chance of half number 2.
They're keeping the ball hot. This is a good thing. Now they need someone to cut through to give them an opening.
Alderman, skip pass, bounce shot. That one goes for Mosier. 3 goals in a row for the Pride, and the deficit is down to 6.
So on that last play, you're either looking for someone to cut through or the skip pass. And that time they opt for the skip pass for Mosier. So you see this right there. There's the skip. And you see he's got that lane to shoot. Just a nicely executed play by Hofstra. They have struggled on the man up.
Mosier coming off an excellent performance against Drexel, career highs in goals and points, 3 and 5 respectively. 8th goal of this season.
And a kick ball, so this is going to be Hofstra. They've got 25 seconds in the quarter. They've got 8 additional seconds if this pushes into the fourth quarter. So they've got a golden opportunity here to pull within 5.
Still 20 more seconds with the extra man. 8 to play in the third. Tierney. Alderman went for it all. Still 2 seconds on the clock.
And they want to hold this, because if they hold this in the box, they'll be able to keep it for the to start the fourth quarter.
Good call. McIntosh holds on, the freshman being instructed from his teammates. Well, we've got a ball game all of a sudden. Go to the fourth quarter here at Garber Field in Amherst. UMass leads Hofstra 12-6. Hofstra has scored the last 3. Come back with us for more CAA Game of the Week action here on Lac Sports Network. Fourth quarter action underway. Thanks for joining us here at Garber Field in Amherst. The score 12-6. UMass leads. Brendan McDaniels and Brendan Glasheen with you. Hofstra has scored the last 3 goals of this ball game. It's down to 6 entering the fourth. UMass, as most know, is the top seed in next week's conference tournament, which will be held here in Amherst Hofstra fighting for seeding in this conference tournament that's coming up. Could be the 2 with the win, even with the loss, could fall to 3 or 4. Battling for a caused turnover on the far side. Spencer keeps it alive for UMass. Hats off to Hofstra for making this one a ball game.
Yeah, they certainly have, and they got some momentum ending that last quarter. 3 goals in the last 5 minutes after they went almost 30 minutes scoreless.
The UMass run was 9 goals between the first and second quarters. They used a 10-0 run last week to pull away from Fairfield. The Stags never answered. Hofstra has sort of done so here tonight. Buddy Carr from outside. He tried to whistle one with his left, and Kincannon hopped out of cage to deflect it. Jesse Lung snares it for UMass on the backup. Last year, these two teams met in the CAA semis down in Towson. UMass had a big lead. Hofstra came back, and then UMass fended off this lethal Hofstra team with a miracle shot by Dan Muller from 35 yards out.
As time expired, no less.
As the time expired.
Yeah, it just wasn't that game winner with 9 seconds left. It was a game winner as the clock ran out.
A bounce shot after a turnover. Flag comes in, Trainor triple teamed. Skip to Ben Spencer. Stopped by Kincannon. Another flag comes in from 30 yards out.
So you might see a 6-on-4 here because these are 2 separate penalties. Let's take a look at the first one here. The first one should be a cross check. So we have a 30-second hold and a minute cross check.
Keegan Santos, a victim.
So
Mitch Kingsley, one of Hofstra's captains, who is often seen on attack.
Well, Kingsley's a California kid.
UMass can really halt this run now as Spencer fires, stopped by Kincannon. Possession stays alive. Connolly, a bluff. Kick out Spencer, they swerve it all the way around. Long puts it home. Jesse Long with the hat trick.
His quick ball movement right there. Lung on the far wing, left wide open. Nice ball movement by UMass.
That's just Lung's second today, but he makes it 13-6, stopping the Hofstra 3-0 run. Jesse Lung, a sophomore from Brookline, Massachusetts. Well, just when Hofstra was making some noise there, Brendan, they put UMass in a very favorable situation.
So really that's what you want to do, is you want to halt that run by Hofstra, not give them any more confidence.
Ground ball picked up, Mark Ellis. Short stick, lost it though as he jogged forward. UMass with numbers. Jake Marino, the shorty. Up to Philpott. Connolly, the skip. And the pole scores! Luke Valenza, the senior, coming through. First goal of the season for Luke Valenza on senior day.
And off the turnover, in transition, pinpoint passing. Connolly goes across the crease, to Valenza, who's wide open, and the crowd went nuts as soon as that ball hit the back of the net.
It's also the first of his career. A 4-year player, has been a starter the last 2 seasons. That's a cool moment. And his teammates could not wait to celebrate with number 45.
So it is now 5 goals for UMass by natural defenders, long poles or short stick D-middies.
Philpott with a hat trick. Short stick D-midi.
Rinkus has one, Valenza has one now.
There's the 5. 8-goal lead. Hofstra scored 3 in a row. UMass has come right back with 2 of their own. He questioned throughout the course of the game, would there be any point in which UMass displays some complacency? If they have it all, they've been very short stints of complacency.
Well, and it very, very minute. And even when Hofstra went on that 3-goal run, it wasn't that UMass was complacent. It was just that Hofstra was executing their offense. And more flags come out.
Trainor skip to Lasoskis. They go all the way back diagonally to Trainor.
Now the UMass bench wants them to spread it out, slow it down.
Flags have showered in. O'Brien and Connolly play catch. 5 minutes into the 4th. Again, don't forget after this one, Drexel at Delaware, 7:30, just about, here on Lac Sports Network. A lot of implications in the CAA for seeding. And before the cause turnover, senior Brett Osman, who was hit with the penalty back in the 3rd, shows his frustration.
So I think this is an offsides. Yep, so it's an offside 30-second technical. It'll be served by McIntosh.
Can UMass capitalize and make Hofstra pay again? Connolly to Proctor. They swing it to Spencer.
Connolly's wide open on the backside.
Proctor gets it to him. Trainor's seeping up on the end line now. Hofstra's back to full strength. Proctor comes out. UMass reinserts Jake Lasoskis. I think UMass wants to keep attacking here despite an 8-goal lead. They understand how capable this Hofstra team is. Feed to Trainor. Carr finds Lung. Connolly waiting, cradling the ball. Gets a screen. Connolly tried to flick a pass midair.
I think he was trying to shoot on that one.
You think so? Certainly was a strong feed, and we have a timeout.
Yeah, I think that one was a shot. He just didn't get far enough up. Yeah, that was a shot. He just didn't get far enough upfield to get a good angle at that.
So a timeout here on the field. 8:33 to play in the 4th. Got to keep in mind we have MLL action going on tonight as well on Lac Sports Network. We have a bunch of games going on tomorrow as well. As you see there, Dallas, Charlotte tonight at 7:30 Eastern. 4 games total on the weekend. Saturday, Boston travels to Atlanta. Both teams looking to rebound from week 1 setbacks. Also Saturday, Florida Launch play their home opener versus Chesapeake. And then on Sunday, defending champions, the Ohio Machine, begin defense of their title when they play New York. And the Rattlers play their first ever home game. Again, that is in Dallas. That is on Sunday, April 29th. A busy weekend of Major League Lacrosse, and the only place to see it is all right here on Lac Sports Network.
And how about the Rattlers moving from Rochester, New York to Dallas? You're playing
It
at the
hits home
Star
a little bit,
Frisco.
right?
It does hit home. My hometown is Rochester. I've been part of the Rattlers, whether I was with the organization or working with the league, since 2005. So it's a little weird to call them the Dallas Rattlers. And I'll be working that game on Sunday. And I was talking to my father last night. He said, "How many times are you going to call them the Rochester Rattlers?" And I said, "Well, probably about 5 times." So if you do end up watching the Rattlers game, if I call them Rochester, don't send me angry tweets.
We'll give you a pass this weekend, but then hopefully you find your stride early in the season.
That's right. I'll get that out by halftime.
Of course, we thank you for sticking with us for CAA Lacrosse. That is also available to you tonight. Here we have number 16 UMass, the regular season champ for the first time since 2012. And the Hofstra Pride, a team that was 10-0 to start last year, upset by this UMass team in the conference tournament. Pride at the time are 14. BTB attempt by Spencer.
I believe
Kevin Tobin.
As I say, during that winning streak, I believe Hofstra got up to number 2 in the country. I think they were that high.
Yes, indeed, and that's why it was such a heartbreaking finish. Hofstra, if they come back in this game midway through the 4th, they can still get the 2 seed. With the loss, they could still going to make the tournament. It just depends on what seed they'll be, 3 or 4. Here they come in transition. The pole, Kingsley got out of the way, and the offense can set up. Work to be done, down 8 with just a tick over 7 minutes left in regulation here at Garber Field in Amherst. Hofstra must be thinking, why can't we just stay till next week?
Yeah, it's just those pesky classes get in the way.
No, I'm sure they'll enjoy going back home to practice and get geared up. Alderman had the double team.
Yeah, well, they'll go back to the island. They'll watch this game tape, and they'll correct how to slow that UMass transition down. Seth Tierney does an outstanding job of making adjustments.
Kavanaugh in front, midair by McIntosh. He is denied. And their ball movement was crisp on that possession.
Yeah, it was a really good offensive set by Hofstra. Connolly just had a really nice save on that one.
Sean Connolly again had 20 saves last week, the most by a UMass goalie since 2009. That was by assistant coach Doc Schneider. Tonight, Connolly has 12 saves. It was a big question mark for this UMass team coming into the season with Hampton Brannon, a freshman from Atlanta, starting the bulk of the games. He went 5-1 in the beginning stages of the season, but replacing DJ Smith, who was one of the top goalies behind Jack Kincannon, arguably the second best goalie in the conference.
Yeah, and Connolly, since he's been in, has been just simply outstanding. And we talked to Coach Cannella about it yesterday. He said, you know, you got 2 goalies that are playing well, and you've got to pick one of them. And Connolly's gotten the nod, and he's done really well in the time that he's been in the cage.
Yeah, Coach mentioned when Connolly was in high school, he played at East Islip High School. He was the center of the football team, and he admired his energy level when Coach went to pay a visit in the fall and then, of course, in the spring to watch him play lacrosse. He's loved the energy he's brought to this team, not just when he's been the starter, but also when he was serving as the backup.
Well, and he also mentioned that at the time when he watched him play football and as a center, he's making all the line calls, he's making the protections. He said that's exactly what you look through from the goalie, is to be able to make those adjustments back and forth. He said that's what he really loved about Connolly.
Concannon with an impressive save on Devin Spencer's attempt. Hofstra's running out of time. 4.5 to play, and the deficit is 8.
It's not going to look like it, and people aren't going to believe it when you look at the score, but I think Jack Concannon has played really well. He's come up with some really good saves today. He's just seen a lot of shots.
10 saves for Concannon.
You got to remember probably about 5 of those goals that he gave up were point-blank transition goals that
ball nearly bounced through, but just skittered off wide left. Hofstra possession remains alive. Tierney is getting bottled up right now by Philpott. What a game he's had. Hat trick, and he's also locking down one of the best scorers in the league. Connolly, another save. Outside of those turnovers, again, we sound like broken records today, but outside of the turnovers in that first half, this unit has been so gelled top to bottom.
Yeah, this has really been a complete game, and we mentioned it a couple times. When you're undefeated and you know you're the #1 seed in your tournament, you know you're not playing for anything. Sometimes teams get complacent. They don't play with as much focus, but this UMass team, despite the turnovers, have been really focused on offense. They've been great in transition. The defense has been outstanding. I mean, this has really been a great game for a team that really had nothing to play for because they already knew they were hosting. They already knew they won the regular season title.
3 minutes to play in the fourth. Hofstra is going to have to scoreboard watch tonight and tomorrow morning. Drexel at Delaware after us, and then tomorrow morning, Towson and Fairfield to decide their seeding and their fate in the CAA tournament for next week. Bounce shot wide. There's a double as Concannon escapes cage.
And they draw the push call, so they get the turnover.
UMass wasn't thrilled about that.
Well, they'll be thrilled in about 2.5 minutes when they come away with a win.
From your estimation, how down does Hofstra feel after this game? Knowing they're still going to get in the tournament, and they may have to face this team again, but how down are you? But you might just be running into the hottest team, one of the hottest teams in the country.
Yeah, you are. This is a team that cracked the top 20 in all the polls over the last couple of weeks, and I mean, you just hit a buzzsaw. You're going to be upset because you didn't have your best showing, but I think they're going to feel like they left a lot out on the field that they didn't show UMass, which they'll come in next week as a different team. And I think that's what Seth Tierney's going to hold his hat on and say, listen, you guys didn't play your game, and they didn't see you at your best. And they've got 5 days to make sure that they don't have a repeat of this when they come back here next week.
Again, next Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 1 seed UMass against we don't know yet in the CAA tournament. And by the way, UMass is just about a minute away now from being 5-0 in the league. They did the same thing in 2012 when they won the division and won the league. The Minutemen went 5-0 in the conference.
We just put the shot clock on, but that's kind of meaningless because there's only about 30 seconds differential between the shot clock and the game clock. And with an 8-goal lead, it looks like UMass will just wait for the shot clock to expire, give the ball up, and let this thing run out.
Seniors on the field. Dom St. Laurent is out there. Keep an eye out for Mike Elcock, a redshirt junior that plays close defense. See if he gets some run. UMass uses a timeout with 34 seconds left in regulation. A year in the CAA in which entering the conference regular season Many wondered, how good is Towson? How good is Hofstra? Were people believing in this UMass team all along after their big loss to Albany? Some will question it, but looking at their non-conference schedule when they played a team like Yale, who is now the new #1 in the country, Albany was #1 at the time when they met up, Army to open the season. This team with an experienced defense, an experienced face-off man, an experienced attack in Buddy Carr, and then everyone else has fluttered in.
Yeah, this is going to be
impressive.
Yeah, they're going to close out the season with 9 straight wins. And you mentioned, I mean, Albany was #1, Yale was #11, but they are #1 right now. Loss at Army, so I mean, their losses weren't bad. Harvard was receiving votes when they lost. They beat Sacred Heart, who was receiving votes. So I mean, this non-conference schedule was loaded with some of the nation's best teams. So you look at their schedule, they're going to finish 10-4 overall, which is a great season. And those 4 losses, I mean, none of these are really bad losses. Albany, Yale, Harvard, and Army, those are all teams that were ranked. So this is a UMass team that has played a really good season, and they came in preseason #3, and you mentioned people weren't sure what they were going to get out of this UMass team. A lot of that had to be goaltending. I mean, the goaltending has been great for UMass. The transition game probably a little bit better than they expected, even though they knew it would be good. And Hofstra, they came in predicted to be the #2 team. They still might be the #2 team when we head into the conference tournament next weekend, depending on how things shake out the rest of the weekend.
Multiple whistles with 7 seconds. Luke Valenza playing with a huge edge right now after scoring a goal, his first collegiate goal moments ago.
Yeah, this is a great game by UMass all around.
Just as they did 6 years ago in 2012, the UMass Minutemen not only won the CAA regular season, but they also ran the table in conference play.